Hey there YouTube, AJ here, and today I'm going to do a DIY project where I'm going to try to turn these 12-inch hand shears into a Beverly Sheer, because I've been looking for one for a long time and every one I can find used, it's been too expensive, new ones are expensive, etc, etc. So I started searching for DIY solutions, and I came across the idea of using shears like this to try to make a bench shear. But anyway, today what we're going to try to do is take these shears and make us a pseudo Beverly Shear-Billy.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
So the idea is we're going to make this to where it goes into my multi-purpose stand. So we're going to put it on a piece of 2-inch square tubing. Going to make a little round table, and we're going to attach and make a lever system for this. So let's see how I can do this. Okay, first things first, we're going to get our little table and platform to welded together. So I'm just going to weld this 2-inch square tubing to this little round circle I cut out from another project, and that's what we're going to use as our tabletop. So we got that welded together, and we're going to go ahead and clean it up a little bit. Well, I had to move inside because it's pretty windy out there and it was blowing my camera around, plus the wind was cold, so I came in here to get a little better recording and better comfort. So next step, we're going to take these, since we're going to be mounting that in there, I need to cut a slot in here so we can drop that down in there and weld it. Going to start out drilling some pilot holes, and then we're going to drill a hole the width of the slot we need on both ends of the slot, and then we'll connect it with the angle grinder. Oh, that bit just broke. Ah, I see. This one broke because it got to the bottom of the plate and it slid just inside of the square tubing, and it bound up because it broke that one too. All right, let's see if we can connect these now. And let's see if we can pop this out. Still pretty solid. Okay, so we've got that to where it'll sit down in there. Now I'm gonna grind a little bevel on those edges just to give some more place for welding to get into. All right, now that we've got that slot prepared, just going to tack it in place first. Make sure our handle clears, and it does. Alright, it's welded on there for good or bad. Not the greatest welds. I had to fill quite a bit of gap up here in the front. I should have either, I don't know what I should have done. I didn't have it sunk down in as far as I wanted up here, so I had to fill in quite a bit. It'll work, or it won't. So now, obviously this piece stays the way it is, so we can just cut this off. Just gonna take this. Okay. Probably should have done this before. I forgot. Let's see if we can get this grip removed off of here. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Alright. Now, this next part, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. Obviously, this is just a short piece. My goal is to have a short piece on here for make it small to store, and then a longer handle I can slide over this to get the leverage I need. So for right now, we're just making this piece up, and it looks like I just need to cut a slot in this to go over this. Trying to get this in position where it's pretty much straight up and down when it's open to cut. Maybe a little fast. I think that's all right right there. Okay, I think that'll work. Okay, first test piece. This is 18 gauge steel. I don't really think it's going to be able to cut this with just this little handle. We'll see. Let's see if we can cut this apart. That is too hot to hold. Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think that was going to work with just that little handle. For now, I'm just going to steal my jack handle. Yeah, baby. All right. Look at that. All right. Well, next thing to do is slather some paint on this. Start looking for a handle. Okay, well, here we are, finished product. Did have to do a couple things. Found a piece of 18-inch pipe for a handle. I did have to grind the outside diameter of this down a little bit and drill out this just a little bit to make it a nice slip fit so I can take it on and off. 18 inches I don't think is really quite long enough. It needs to be closer to 2 foot. So at some point down the line I'll try to find I'm sure I'll find another piece of 3/4 inch piping, and we'll just make a longer one when we get a chance. Put a cap on the end of it, wrap the handle with tape, so make it a little easier to work with. But yeah, other than that, it's ready to go. First project, got this tape measure here, and I saw Lee on LG Customs. He uses a lot of pieces of a tape measure cut up. He's got like a 6-inch one, a 12-inch one, an 18, a 24. Anyway, he uses those to get into tight places. Seemed like a good use of a broken tape measure, and this tape measure is pretty broken up. The end's messed up, and the case is broke, the clip's broke. So I'm going to sacrifice this to start making my own set of tape measure rulers to use. So, because this end's no good, we're going to make our first cut at 10 inches, so it's going to be at a 0. And it cut through that like nothing. Absolutely nothing. The thing about this set of shears versus a true Beverly Sheer is that a Beverly Sheer has a mechanism in it to give you a mechanical advantage, whereas my only advantage in this over the regular, what I started with, the 12-inch shears, I'm giving myself more leverage, so that does help. But you know, the mechanical shears, you also are limited by the strength in your hand, because you have to, you only have so much, and you have to be able to squeeze it together, and so it makes thicker metal a lot harder. Since I broke my hand, I have lost a lot of strength in this hand, and I'm trying to regain it. So using the scissor type shears is actually pretty difficult for me right now. The other thing is, with this, it's a lot easier to control your cut, because you can hold the piece steady and then cut. Anyway, so we're going to cut again at 6 inches. But like I said, this is cutting like nothing. I don't want to bore you with that. Let's find some tougher material to cut. Okay. Couldn't find any aluminum, but I got a piece of stainless steel here. It's not super thick. I don't know what gauge it is, but definitely more challenging than a similar piece of aluminum or that tape. So let's see what we can do here. And that was really easy till I got to the edge, and that was because this edge has actually got a piece bent 90 degrees. So let's cut without hitting that edge. That was absolutely nothing. Cut super easy. So yeah, cutting something like that, no problem. Here's where we get a little tougher. I'm going to jump up to 18 gauge steel, which is probably about the thickest I'm going to really need to cut with this. The problem here is this is where I think I need a little more leverage, but let's give it a shot. This piece has a lot more sharp edges, so I want to throw some gloves to handle it. First thing we're going to do is just a quick little cut to get this tail off of it. That kind of folded there at the end, but not bad. Let's try a longer piece here. Not bad. I think that'll be pretty easy once we increase the length of this, and we'll try to do that here in a second. We're going to take this, we're going to, instead of sliding this all the way down, I'm just going to slide it in a little bit here and see what we can do. See if this makes it a little easier. Oh yeah, definitely. That makes a big difference, just that little bit. So I think when we get a 2-foot section of pipe, make a new handle, we'll be golden on this cutting 18 gauge. Won't be a problem. Now, the whole reason I'm doing all of this is to make patch panels, because I got a lot of patchwork coming up on the bottom of my body of my hot rod. So I'm gonna have to be able to cut shapes and things. So say we have to patch up a panel that has a round hole in it, which I know for a fact I already need to do. And let's say that hole is yay big around. We draw that out, we can take our shear and really quickly cut a series of cuts going around the circle, making it more like an octagon shape every time, and then eventually you're going to get it down into a round hole. And then once you get it close, like that one's close, I can take this on my belt sander or grinder, go around it and do the final shaping to get it exactly what I need. So this may not be a perfect copy of a Beverly Sheer. In fact, it's far from it. But it is a Beverly Shear-Billy, and I think this is going to do me really good in being able to quickly rough out my panels. Using my electric shear, you know, that's kind of hard to follow the lines, and it does warp the metal a little bit, but you know, this is like for small quick jobs. I'll probably still use my electric shears for really long panels, things like that, but for actually working the shape of a small panel to an area or a small patch hole, I feel this will be quicker and easier to do, because when you're working with those electric shears, it gets hard to hold the piece and shear it at the same time. This, having this fixed mount, makes it a lot easier to, you know, hold the piece you're working with and make your cuts. Is it perfect? Is it 100% as good as a Beverly Sheer? Absolutely not. But it is 100% better than trying to use those handheld 12-inch shears. So, because it just makes it holding your working piece a lot easier. Takes a whole lot less effort to cut like with this lever than it does your hand. So it is a huge improvement, I feel. That said, that's the end of this one. Going forward, you're going to see this thing in more use. When I get to do the bottom panels of my car, I have to go basically around and rebuild most of the bottom of my car. I'll be cutting those out with this. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think of it. If you know of a way to make it better, let me know that too, because I would appreciate any suggestions. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff, and I guess I will see you later, YouTube.